So, what is important for as believers to bring God to your business, and what does it look like? Starting a business can be challenging in itself.
Mm,
What has
yes,
helped you to learn how to trust God's timing during that startup process of your business? And what are some of the important steps that you learned from the first stages of growing your business that you can share with the listeners?
absolutely. So in the Old Testament, and I've only in my most recent studies fallen in love with the Old Testament. I encourage you to look at it with and ask the Spirit to give you eyes to see and ears to hear what the Old Testament has to say because it's incredibly relevant. They had what was called Ebenezer's. And yes, it's a name of some characters in various forms of media, but it's also a name for a stack of standing stones that they would put together to indicate this is where the Lord showed up for me.
Mhm.
And I keep track of, I even make lists sometimes of the Ebenezer's I've got throughout my life. Times where I was, driving and, you know, God kept me from harm, or times where I needed something and I hadn't even told anybody yet. I hadn't even prayed about it yet, and God arranged for me to have it. Um, Times where I was behind on my bills and God gave me exactly what I needed, down to the dollar.
Wow.
um, just keeping track of the standing
Mhm.
stones, because as these people traveled through their ancient ancestral lands and they saw these stacks of stones, they were reminded of when God did something incredible for them. They told their
Yes.
children, this is where God did this for me.
Hmm.
And it's important that we keep track of those things because it's okay to be incentivized by the providence of the Father. That's
Hmm.
kind of one of the best parts of Christianity. And
Yes.
to defang Christianity as, oh, I don't need anything from God. I'm just here to serve. I'm just here to give. I don't need anything. I don't expect anything. No, throw that away. We are supposed to be incentivized by the relationship, the give and take, the exchange of being in submission to Jesus. Um, so how does that look like in my business? I personally am not shy about being a Christian, and I'm a Christian
Hmm.
everywhere I go. And that
Yes.
was difficult for me to accomplish as a teenager, as it is for a lot of teens. It's even more hard when you're an adult and the stakes are higher. The stakes might
Hmm.
be, you get called into HR because
Yes.
you dare to share a Bible verse with a comrade. Your stakes may be you get passed up for a promotion. Your stakes may be, I
Mhm.
mean, 100 different versions of what I just said. But for me, being self-employed, I tout my freedom to be a Christian in public and upfront and in your personal space about it in a
Yes.
in a in a
Hmm.
polite and loving way
Hmm.
as one of the best parts of being self-employed. I can't get fired over being a Christian.
Hmm.
So how that looks in my day-to-day business is for every order that comes through on my website, that's cornerstoneteacompany.com. I give
Hmm.
I give out a Bible verse card,
Oh,
and
that's beautiful.
I pick out a random. Well, I don't really pick so much as I reach into the stack and grab one.
Hmm.
But I let God kind of guide my hand as to which particular Bible verse card He wants me
Yes.
to put in there, and I give them that with every single order. And when I'm in an event in person, selling in person, um, whether I've talked with that individual in the course of the conversation about faith at all, a Bible verse card makes its way into their bag of wares that they've purchased from me. So you're
Hmm.
getting it whether you know it or not, whether you realize it when you get home, whether you realize it going down the road, going through your bags, whether you realize it when you open your mailbox. You are going, I want you to have that moment of interaction with Jesus because I firmly believe that, as all Christians ought, He is the center of it all. He's the only solution. He is the only way, the truth, the life, all that good stuff.
Yes.
Um, and in other ways it presents in my business is I will often put out specific tea blends to benefit missionaries. I
Oh,
have
that's
one friend.
great.
It's Thank you, but it's something I firmly believe more businesses ought do, and I'm continually working on new ways to approach that, new ministries to support. My Connect group leader, her name is Kari.
Hmm.
She is a missionary. Off and on, she has a son and a husband, and she's going to seminary.
Hmm.
The woman's a absolute maniac in the best possible way. but she periodically goes on mission trips and she needs, of course, funding. So I will put out a tea blend that all of the proceeds, every cent of it, is donated to her and helps fund her trips. And I will sometimes, like, say, Operation Christmas Child. If you're in church in the South of the United
Yes.
States, you probably have seen the red and green shoe
Oh,
boxes.
I do those every year.
Don't you love it? It's just
I
so
love it.
cute. I that's my favorite, one of my favorite charities, and probably
Hmm.
one of the best in standing as far as like the amount of money that actually goes towards the project. You can look all that up on their website. But I will put out a tea blend that I use. I sell all the tea I can, and I make a
Hmm.
donation to Operation Christmas Child's website. And there's just 1,001 little things that come about while I'm selling in person. So it's not always, giving a physical Bible verse card. It's not always making a
Hmm.
monetary donation. Sometimes it's a matter of when people come in my booth and they see that I sell tea, they automatically associate tea with some form of medicinal application. It's just
Yes.
inevitable. It's the way it goes.
Mhm.
And I don't dissuade that because I do believe tea is obviously very strong, very powerful. But I have to be careful, obviously, because I'm not a doctor and claiming things medically. But when they share their intimate medical histories with me, and I don't know, I must just have one of those faces. People will tell me the craziest things going on with their bodies. I have an opportunity to ask people, to sympathize with them, to be compassionate towards them. And then I ask them, hey, would you mind if I pray with you over your illness and, or over your friend's illness? Or, um, more often than not, and this is not me tooting my own horn, this is me giving an
Mhm.
example I hope that other believers may find emulable.
Mhm.
If they're giving me that information, like I have, like, say they come in, I'm like, I've been diagnosed with blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh well, this tea might help you, or it might at the very least be enjoyable to you and help with your mental state while you deal with this. Here, just take a bag for free,
Oh,
and can
that.
I pray with you?
Mhm.
Because in my mind, that is nothing. That's nothing
Mhm.
compared to leaving a good taste in people's mouths over their interaction with a Christian.
Mhm.
That is way more important to me than any dollar value associated with that tea. So, recognizing that God will give back to you,
Mhm.
not in a prosperity gospel way, but He will provide for you, I should say, um, if you put yourself in those situations, he will either reward you in heaven as he promises to do, or he'll
Mhm.
reward you on earth, or both. And I've flung myself into the arms of that promise. Uh, I mean, more times than I can count,
Mhm.
and he always shows up. Always. There is no time he has not shown up for me with that.
That's a great uh explanation that you gave. And it goes along with the fourth question, why it's important to live on the mission no matter where you are, recognize it's all God's anyways. And
Amen.
what does it mean to be an employee of God even when you are self-employed, which I think you kind of you answer that, but if you want to elaborate more, you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
Um from what you were saying about ministering to the individuals when they share with you whatever they are struggling with,
Mm-hmm.
that's still ministering to their hearts and ministering, you're praying for them. So you're allowing God to use you in that manner. So I'm going to go to if you want to elaborate a little bit more, or if you want me to move on to the fifth question.
So let me give one little example. So I was at a show, I think in South Carolina. I can't remember exactly. Forgive me, Father. And this is one of those where I made a mistake. Uh, I had a woman come in. She was, I mean, rail thin. Not like she was an addict or, had other issues going on that also needed, a prayer over, but she was sick. And she and her husband were in there and they were talking to me and she's like, "Do you have a tea for this, or this?" And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I've got some things. I said, "What are you, if you don't mind me asking, are you ill? What's up with this?" And she's like, "Well, we actually don't know." She said, "I've been to a dozen doctors. I've had, dozens of tests run, and they still have
Mm-hmm.
no clue what's wrong with me." She said, I'm getting more symptoms. I'm getting more sick. I don't know what to do." I said, "I'll go ahead and tell you the tea is probably not going to help in like curing you. I'm very careful to say nothing. I cannot claim to cure you, but I serve one who can." And I was able to talk to her about it, but I ignored the Holy Spirit in my heart